So welcome everybody. We will start with this lecture 7 of module 2 of this course UHV 2. The module 2 is basically trying to understand the human being in detail, trying to understand the human existence. And when we say human existence, it starts with human being, but it extends right up to the whole existence. So we will talk about human being, the basic aspiration of human being and its fulfillment, and how it relates to the whole expansion of human living. So this is what we are going to work on in this module. So with that in mind, let's look at this right understanding that we have just been talking about in the last session. So last session we had made this observation that human desire is basically for continuous happiness, which is the need of the self. And this continuous happiness is fulfilled by right understanding, right feeling and right thought, which are the activity of the self. So the need of human being is basically the need of the self, and fulfillment of this need of this human being of continuous happiness is fulfilled through right understanding, right feeling and right thought, which are also the activity of the self. So the major issue is that of the self. So that is what we had already discussed. We'll continue with this. Then we said that this right feeling and right thought is what we are calling as resolution. So the issue is whether we are resolved within or we are confused within. Whether we are in a state of resolution or we are in a state of problem. So this resolution is what is required for ensuring continuity of happiness. Resolution, which is certainly based on right understanding. So, if we are resolved within, if we are in a state of resolution within, we are in a state of harmony and happiness. If we are in confusion within, if we are in problem within, we are unresolved, we have doubts, lack of clarity, then we are in a state of contradiction and unhappiness within. So this resolution, which is basically the right feeling and right thought that we have been talking about extensively in UHV 1, and now we have been talking about it in last lectures, is going to be going to play a very important and central role in ensuring continuity of happiness in the self, in the human being. So we tried to look into what resolution would now look like in the light of right understanding. When I have the right feeling and right thought, then what does it mean? What are the details of it? So we said this resolution essentially means clarity of all that relates to human existence. All that relates to human existence. And then we identified that these are the 9 aspects which relate to our existence as a human being. So knowingly or unknowingly, we are, related, we are involved in these 7, aspects. And we also saw that these first 3, the right understanding, the wisdom, the science, is essentially happening at the level of self. But this is expressed at the level of body, through the body, as behavior, as work, as participation in the larger order with the world outside. And when I'm interacting with the world outside, what is happening at the level of world outside is undivided human society, the universal order, human order, and human tradition. So this is anyway happening, right? We as human beings, we are involved at all these levels, all these aspects. So these are the different aspects of human existence, right, which are important, which may be aware, which may not be aware presently, but they are important, and we are living at all these, with all these aspects, right, with awareness or without awareness. So now we are saying, let us be aware of it. Let us start looking at them. Let us understand them, whether our involvement at these aspects is proper or improper, is going to lead to a state of harmony and happiness, or is going to lead to a state of disharmony and contradiction and unhappiness. So this is what we are trying to, understand. So the first thing is to have the clarity about what is right understanding. First thing is to have the clarity about what is right understanding, because we have time and again seen that this provides the foundation of all other activities of human beings. Right understanding is the most important thing to ensure for human beings. It is the first priority. So even in the first introductory session in EHB 1, when we are talking about ensuring continuity of happiness through right understanding, relationship with human being, and physical facility with rest of nature. There we saw that the first priority is that of right understanding in the self. Only then we can have fulfillment in relationship. Only then we can identify the need of physical facility and produce more than what is required, ensuring prosperity. So right understanding is the first and foremost thing as far as human being is concerned. So what we intend to do is now go a little deeper into this right understanding, try to see what this right understanding is. Then of course we can check whether we have the right understanding or we don't have the right understanding, and what we have to work on to ensure right understanding in the self. So let us look at this right understanding. What does it mean? So we have defined right understanding here, but as we go ahead, slowly it will become clear as to what is meant by it. So we are saying right understanding means to see the reality as it is, in its completeness. That is what we are calling as knowing. That is what we are calling as right understanding. So when I am seeing a reality, I am able to see this reality in its completeness. If that is happening, then it is right understanding. Otherwise, it is not a right understanding. So when we look at this and unit, we have to be able to see different aspects of an unit. And when I am able to see all the aspects of an unit, then my seeing of reality is complete. Otherwise, it is incomplete. So let us see what it is. Right. If you look at in unit, these are the 5 aspects of it. Number 1 is the form of that unit, the shape, the size, the density of an unit. Number 2 is the property of an unit, that is its effect on other units. Number 3 is the natural characteristic. Number 4 is the innateness. Number 5 is the coexistence. So these 3 things we have been talking about in the last few sessions: the natural characteristics, the innateness, the coexistence. We have talked about them, in UHB 1. Of course, it was very brief because with the time available and our own readiness, it was possible to introduce these basic realities, but it needs to be investigated further in much more depth, and we will do this in this course. So any unit, you see, it will have these 5 aspects. It will have a form, it will have some properties, it has some natural characteristics, it has some innateness, it has some, it has this coexistence. If you look at the way we are working today, we are focused on form and property of the unit. So science, for example, today is focusing on form and on property. So there is this assumption at the background of the science that world is just physical, just material, and therefore, even if we focus only on the form and the property, we can sufficiently understand about the reality, about the units. This may work for material units. It may even work for the case of animals and birds, animal order. To some extent. But when it comes to human being, it does not suffice. When it comes to understanding human being, it does not suffice to study, to understand about the form and about the property only. We need to investigate and understand about the natural characteristic of human being, the innateness of human being, and the coexistence of human being. And that is what we are trying to do. In fact, major focus of our discussion on UHB 1 and now in UHB 2 is on trying to understand these higher aspects of the human being. Because we have found that it is not sufficient to study and understand about the form and the property of human being. For example, if I study and find out that there is a person who is misbehaving, misbehaving with everybody, or misbehaving with some set of people and well behaving with some other set of people. Now, out of this, what do we conclude? So no meaningful conclusion can be drawn. We can only make the observation, we record it, and we can communicate to others. But when it comes to human being, the question is that, okay, somebody is misbehaving, then what do we do? If he himself is able to see that he is misbehaving and it is not comfortable for him, what should he do? So that question is very important when it comes to human beings. So if you look at the animal, the behavior of the animal is decided by its breed, and it is definite. When it comes to human being, my behavior is decided by my understanding of myself, my understanding of other human beings, my understanding of the rest of nature, my understanding of the whole existence. Or when there is lack of understanding, my assumption about it, my assumption about myself, my assumption about the other human being, my assumption about the rest of nature, and ultimately my assumption about the existence. So now this form and property and the study of the form and property of human being is not going to suffice for us. This is because that when we study into these higher aspects, the aspect of natural characteristics, the aspect of innateness, and the aspect of coexistence, and when we are able to see that this natural characteristic essentially means participation in the larger order, or responsibility in relationship, the feeling in relationship. When I can see that the innateness has to do with my self-organization, something which is there innate in me, whether I am able to see it and express it or not. And similarly, coexistence means my submergence in space. These things, when we understand, and particularly in the context of human being, then we realize whether we have been able to understand these things and whether we are, with these things in us. Are they now there, active? Whether we are feeling on the basis of these things, thinking on the basis of these things or not. So that becomes the issue for us. So if you remember what we have discussed till now, we said this human being, we can, as human being, we can investigate into ourselves and find out what is naturally acceptable to us, the relationship or opposition, the harmony or disharmony, contradiction, the coexistence or struggle. And we could all see that what is naturally acceptable to us is relationship, harmony, and coexistence, and not otherwise. So this is our natural characteristic, the innateness and the coexistence. So relationship, to live in relationship, to have a feeling of relationship, is the natural characteristic of human being. To understand the harmony and to be in harmony is the innateness of every human being. and this results into a state of continuous happiness. So this continuous happiness is the innateness of human being. And then we are of course in coexistence in space. So all this understanding is required. So we need to understand all these things, our natural characteristics, our innateness, our coexistence. And when we understand these things, then we can establish ourselves, our being in this. Then I will start, having the feeling and thought on the basis of relationship, harmony, and coexistence. And with that, when I behave, my behavior will be human behavior. That will be the right property of human being. Today we are behaving sometime human, sometime inhuman, because we do not have this base of clarity about relationship, the natural characteristics, the innateness, the coexistence, which is in the form of relationship, harmony, and coexistence. Because we do not have this clarity, we do not have this understanding, therefore it is not established in us, and therefore these are not the one which is guiding our feeling and thought. And therefore our properties, the human property as human being, or behavior, for example, as human being, is not definite. So when it comes to human being, understanding the property, the form and the property is not enough. We need to understand the natural characteristic, the innateness, and the coexistence of human being. If we can see this, then we can look back and see that it is important to understand these three things: the natural characteristics, harmony and coexistence, natural characteristic, the innateness and coexistence of every unit, if we really want to understand them in its completeness. But at least we can see that it is very necessary, it is inevitable when it comes to understanding human being, studying human being. So we have to study into these 5 aspects. Each one of them is important. Particularly the last 3 are very important when it comes to human being. If I can see this, I can understand the limit of science today. So the limitation of science today is that it is doing all this study on the basis of form and property, but it is not investigating into the natural characteristics, the innateness, and the coexistence of the units. And particularly, it is not able to do it in case of human beings. And therefore, when it comes to understanding human beings through science, it fails. Because it is not within the scope of the science today, which is based on the assumption that the world is material. The existence is just material. So, right understanding would mean essentially investigating into all the 5 aspects of any unit, which is there in the unit, whether it is human being or otherwise, but whether we have investigated them or not, whether we have understood them or not, is what is important. So let's look at this in little more detail. So if we look at the form and property of an unit, then it has variety. It is changing. It has variety, it is changing. But when you look at this natural characteristic, the innateness, the coexistence, then it is definite. It is continuous, it is universal. it is continuous, it is universal. Presently, we are focusing on form and property. So we are focusing on what is varying, what is changing. So we see so many varieties all around. Right? Innumerable number of varieties we see. And we find that it is very difficult to understand each of these varieties because we do not know how many of them are there. But the interesting thing is that if we start looking into these three aspects, the last three aspects, the natural characteristics, the inertness, and the coexistence, we found that these are same for any given order. So the study that we have done in EHB1, we found that the whole nature can be grouped into 4 orders, starting from physical order to bio order and animal order and human order. And these 4 orders have definite natural characteristics, definite inertness. Coexistence is of course same in all of them because all the units are submerged in space. So that submergence is common in all of them. But the natural characteristics and the inertness of any unit belonging to a given order is definite. So this is what we are going to study. Of course, we have been studying the form and property, but now we realize that it is important to understand these 3 things: the natural characteristics, the inertness, and the coexistence. And what we are saying is, and what we have been saying, is that it is this ability to see the natural characteristic is called contemplation. This ability to see the inertness of units is called understanding. And this ability to see the coexistence is what is called as realization. So basically, we have to work within ourselves to become aware of this activity of contemplation, activity of understanding, and activity of realization, whereby we can see the natural characteristics of units, we can see the inertness of units, and we can see the coexistence of units. We can see the coexistence of units. And we also said that it is these 3 things: the contemplation, this understanding, and this realization of natural characteristics of self-organization and of coexistence is the essence of right understanding. So when we are saying right understanding, it is mainly focused on these 3 things: on contemplation, understanding, and realization, which helps us to understand the natural characteristics, the inertness, and coexistence, which can also be said in simplified terms that it helps us to understand the participation of the unit in larger order, its self-organization, and the submergence, and which can be rephrased in still simpler terms as having the clarity about the relationship, about the harmony, and about the coexistence. So this we have been saying that we need to have the clarity about the unit in relationship, unit in harmony, unit in coexistence. This clarity is required. So when I am able to see the units in relationship, when we are able to understand its participation in the larger order, we are calling it contemplation. When we are able to see the units in harmony, which is innateness, with its self-organization, we are calling it understanding. And we are able to see the unit in coexistence in space, have the clarity of this, then we are calling it child realization. And all this put together, the contemplation, the understanding, the realization of relationship, harmony, and coexistence, that unit is what is called as right understanding. And one of the outcome of this right understanding is this feeling of assurance in myself that yes, I have understood the reality. So this understanding, this right understanding of relationship, harmony, and coexistence, of participation in the larger order, of the self-organization of the unit, and the coexistence of that unit, is what is giving me assurance within myself, what is giving me fulfillment within myself. Assurance of having understood the reality in its completeness. Fulfillment of having understood the reality in its completeness. So with this, we can see that right understanding is essentially seeing the essence of the reality as it is. That is seeing the part that is definite, that is continuous, and that is universal. So this is what right understanding is essentially. So if you can see this, then I can sum up this here, saying that right understanding is essentially seeing the essence of reality as it is. That is seeing the part that is definite, that is universal, that is continuous. And if you look at this part of reality, which is definite, which is universal, which is continuous, we will see they are essentially the natural characteristics, the innateness, the coexistence, which is defined as participation in the larger order, as self-organization, and as submergence, which can also be defined, understood as natural characteristic, means the unit being in relationship. So the being of the unit in relationship, its participation in relationship, its participation in the larger order. The innateness can be seen as the harmony of that unit, the basic self-organization of that unit. And the coexistence can be seen as the unit, the coexistence of that unit in space. And this we can understand through our activity of contemplation, activity of understanding, and activity of realization. And as we said, that the four orders of nature that we had studied, unit belonging to any particular order has a definite natural characteristic, inertness, and coexistence. So essentially now we can see that there are four sets of natural characteristics and inertness, one belonging to each order. So there is some natural characteristic and inertness of the physical order, some inertness of natural characteristics and innateness of the bio order, similarly animal and human order. So these four orders have different natural characteristics and different innateness that we had studied in the first course, but we will now study them in a little more depth. But the important thing is now, when it comes to right understanding, and when we say that right understanding has to focus mainly on the essence, and essence is this natural characteristic, harmony, and this innateness and coexistence. So we can see that though there are innumerable number of units in nature, but they can all be divided into four orders. They can be categorized in four orders. And each of these orders has some definite natural characteristics and innateness. Therefore, when we go to understand, to explore, study all the units in nature, and when we are focusing on the essence in terms of natural characteristics, innateness, and coexistence, then we can see that we have to essentially look into these 9 things. Right? That is, we have to study into the natural characteristics of these four orders. We have to study the innateness of these four orders. And we have to study the coexistence of these four orders. And when it comes to coexistence, it is same for all orders. For all units, the coexistence essentially means the unit being submerged in space, unit being in coexistence in space. So essentially, we have to understand these 9 things. We have to understand all the units in nature. The essential aspect is understanding the natural characteristics of these 4 units, 4 orders, the innateness of these 4 orders, and the coexistence of these 4 orders. So this is, in a sense, about right understanding. Of course, there will be many questions on this, which we will take up after completion of this presentation of the content. So with this now, we can see that when we are saying that we see the reality, right, there are different levels at which we are seeing. So all seeing are not the same. So when we see things, depending upon our status of the self, our development of the self, we are seeing certain things about the reality. So let us look at that. So it may be possible that I am just seeing the form, that is the shape, the size, the density of unit. So today, most of the time, we are focused on how it looks. And we are busy trying to improve our look. And our look means how our face looks, how our body looks, how our clothes look. So the focus is on the shape, on the size, on the color, and so on. Then it is possible that I focus on the property. For example, I focus on my behavior. I focus on the behavior of other human beings. Right? When I'm eating something, I may focus on the property of that thing that I'm eating, whether it is going to nurture the body or it is going to harm the body. So I might look at the property. And when I'm looking at the property, I have to look at two units now, unit 1 and unit 2. And I have to look at the effect of unit 1 on unit 2. So property has to do with recognition and fulfillment by unit 1 with unit 2. So how I am interacting with unit 2? What is my effect on unit 2? So when I'm studying about the food, I'm eating the food, I'm studying my effect of the food on my body. So food is unit 1 and body is unit 2. So what is the effect of this unit 1 on unit 2? So you can notice that when you are eating food, most of the time we are not focusing on its property. We are not bothering whether it is going to nurture the body or harm the body. We are focusing on the taste. So it tastes good, then you eat, irrespective of whether it is harming the body or nurturing the body. So you can see three things we have said: seeing through the sensation, seeing what is rational, so through our thought, and seeing what is existential, what is essence. So these are the three levels of our seeing. And you can also see that when you are seeing through the senses, you are involving the body and you are involving the self. And when you are doing that, you largely focus on the form, the shape, size, density through the eyes and ears, and some part of the property. Right? So when you are observing something, you can see that there is some effect of one unit on another unit. So some part of effect can also be seen through sensation. Second is seeing what is rational through my thought, through my imagination. Here, I can see some part of the property, effect on other unit. For example, when I'm studying the behavior of a human being, right, or studying a human being, by looking at some of his gestures, I can conclude whether he is expressing a feeling of respect or disrespect, whether he has a feeling of respect or disrespect. Now, this is seeing through the thought, through the imagination process. Some part of the property can be seen on the basis of thought, on the basis of rationality. This involves the self only. So self is testing whatever information is coming from outside. It is analyzing, it's comparing, all that it is doing at the level of self. So seeing through sensation is done at the level of body plus self. This thinking is done at the level of self. And the third one is seeing what is existential, what is essence, is also seen by the self, but now through the higher activities of the self. The activity of contemplation, the activity of understanding, activity of realization, to which we are not generally aware. So presently our whole training is limited around this testing and analyzing and comparing and imaging, what we call as imagination. That area of imagination of the self is what is mostly active. And these higher activities we are not even aware of most of the time. So the activity of contemplation, the activity of understanding and activity of realization, which helps us to see the natural characteristics, the innateness, and the coexistence, which helps us to see that unit in relationship, in harmony, in coexistence. We are not even aware of it. We are not awakened to it. But if we become aware of it, if we are awakened to these higher activities of the self, then through these activities, I can understand the natural characteristics, the innateness, and the coexistence of every unit. I can see the unit in relationship, in harmony, in coexistence. And what we are saying is that when you say right understanding, this is the essential part. It is mainly focusing on understanding or having the clarity of natural characteristics, innateness, and coexistence. Having clarity of relationship, harmony, and coexistence. The unit in relationship, in harmony, and coexistence. So this is what we will focus on when it comes to right understanding. So if you recall what we had discussed in EHB1, that the whole nature can be divided into these four orders. All the units in nature can be divided into these four orders. The physical order, the bio order, the animal order, and the human order. And each of these orders have different set of activities, innateness, and natural characteristics. So you can recall this, just have a glance through it for a few minutes, then we can make certain observations. So this is something which we have already introduced in the first course, EHB1. But now we will get little deeper into these things and also relate them to our higher activities of contemplation, understanding, and realization. So if you are able to recall what we had discussed in the first course, I can make certain observations. So what we are saying that these four orders have their specific innateness and the natural characteristics. Specific innateness and the natural characteristics. We can see that the physical order has the innateness of existence. The bio order has the innateness of existence plus growth. And ultimately the human order has the innateness of existence plus growth at the level of body. And innateness of will to live with continuous happiness in the self, in the I. So this is something which is the part and parcel of that unit, the being of that unit. And this we can verify within ourselves as human beings, whether we have the will to live with continuous happiness in the self, all the time or not. So we as human beings have the innateness of will to live with continuous happiness. So we cannot find a human being who does not have this will to live with continuous happiness. So this is something which is innate to us, innate to each one of us as human being as self. Whether we are aware of it or not is an issue, but it is there in each one of us. Similarly, you can see this innateness in other units. For example, a plant has growth as its innateness. You cannot find a plant which does not grow. If it is a plant, it grows. The only way to stop its growth is cut that plant, convert it into a physical order. So like that we had studied. But now what we will do is we will focus on this, particularly the innateness of human being. Right? The natural characteristics of human being, the coexistence of human beings. So we'll study into other orders, but here, as we said the very beginning, that when we are talking about this UHV2, we are focusing on human being and human existence. So we will study about the whole existence because we are anyway embedded in this nature, in this existence. So we have to study the nature as a whole, the existence as a whole. But our focus is every time on human being, on human existence. And in fact, when it comes to these three things, natural characteristics and innateness and the coexistence, it is important to understand it for human being because it is there that these things matter very significantly. When we are talking about other orders, these are already there and the units are interacting on the basis of these things. So there is no variation possible. In case of human being, there is a variation possible. We may understand our innateness and work for the innateness. We may understand our natural characteristics and work for natural characteristics. But we also have the possibility of doing otherwise. Only with right understanding, only with understanding of these things, of natural characteristics, the innateness, we are able to live in accordance with these basic essence. If we don't understand them, then we might even do otherwise. So with right understanding, we can see our natural characteristics. We can see our participation in the larger order. We can see ourselves in relationship. And with that clarity, when I work, when I imagine things about my relationship with other human beings, I will always behave on the basis of relationship, feeling of relationship, and not otherwise. But without this understanding, I may have a feeling of relationship or I may have a feeling of opposition. And therefore, I may behave with the other person with a feeling of relationship or a feeling of opposition. And this uncertainty is what is causing the problem in human character, human conduct, human behavior. So we can see this innateness of human being. Similarly, we can see the natural characteristic of human being, that when we look at ourselves, when we look at our participation in the larger orders, what is going to be our participation? What is going to be our participation? That has to be understood. So we have mentioned this for other units also. And we have mentioned for human being that perseverance is one natural characteristic. the brevity, the generosity, the kindness, the beneficence, the compassion. These are my participation in the larger order. When I'm participating in the larger order, in the family order, in the village order, I have to have this participation. This is what is naturally acceptable to me. Similarly, when I'm looking at human-human relationship, the trust, the feeling of respect, feeling of affection, that is my natural participation in my relationship with other human beings. So this natural characteristics, my participation in the larger order, my participation in the relationship is important to understand. And my innateness, my will to live with continuous happiness has to be understood. Only when we understand these two things about ourselves, and of course we have to understand the coexistence, our being in space, the coexistence in space has to be understood. And only when we understand these three things about ourselves, that our behavior, first our feeling and thought will become definite, and then our behavior, our conduct will start becoming definite. So we'll study into this, and we will focus on studying the natural characteristics and innateness of the human being, the coexistence of human being in space. So this is what we will do as we go along. One important observation that we made in the first course, but which can now be further looked into, because this is something which we are going to try, work on this as well. So first course, it was just more like making you familiar, introducing this concept so that you can start working on it. So we hope that by now you must have investigated and done a lot of work on this. Now what I'm going to say is though similar to what was said in the first course, but now you can understand it much better than what you did last time. So what I'm saying is that now if we look at the innateness, the natural characteristics of human being, and also relates to its continuity, this inheritance in human being, then we can see this cycle. That is, the inheritance of human being is maintained through education and sanskar. So whatever education and sanskar we give to the next generation, that becomes the basis of right understanding, right feeling, or even otherwise, depending upon what education sanskar you are giving. And that decides its state of happiness or unhappiness, continuity of happiness or lack of it. And with this state of the self, this human being is able to participate in the process of education and sanskar. So there is a dynamic relationship between my state of understanding and feeling and its effect on the next generation through the process of education and sanskar. So if everything is in order, then we will have human education and sanskar. This human education and sanskar will ensure right understanding, the right feeling and right thought, which will lead to a state of continuous happiness in myself. With this concept, state of continuous happiness in the self, I can become a source of human education and sanskar for the next generation. So you can notice this red, lines showing all this cycle, starting from human education sanskar to right understanding, right feeling, and right thought in the innateness column, which leads to right state of continuous happiness in the self, which relates to the next generation in the form of human education. And that is how this cycle is completed and sustained as a tradition, generation after generation. So this is about the study into the natural characteristics and the innateness of human being in particular and of all the four orders in general. This innateness and natural characteristics of human order is of much wider consequence for us. So majority of our focus in the remaining discussion would be on trying to understand the natural characteristics of human being, the innateness of human being. So with this, some indication I will make about this participation. I will just make the mention of it and you can reflect on it, and if there are questions, we'll take up. So we are saying participation of human being in entire nature. So the participation is now to understand the inherent harmony in nature and to live accordingly. That is to facilitate a conducive environment for the activity of all the orders. So we provide a conducive environment, at least we do not violate. That is important. Similarly, to facilitate the innateness of all orders, at least not violate. To ensure the inheritance or at least not violate it for all orders. So now that we have studied about the innateness, about the natural characteristics, about the inheritance, about the activity of these orders, what we want to do, and what is going to be our participation, is to ensure their continuity, or at least not violating their activity, not violating their innateness, not violating their inheritance, which is further explained here, that when I am dealing with physical order, I have to facilitate its existence, that is innateness, by ensuring conducive environment and maintain its constitution. For example, constitution of earth. So when I am working with the earth, we will certainly make sure that we are not disturbing the constitution of the earth. Rather, we are facilitating its existence, existing in the definite order, continuing to exist. When we are interacting with the bio order, we will facilitate its growth by ensuring a conducive environment, by providing the necessary water and manure and so on, and maintaining its seed, the seed of rice, for example. When I'm talking about rice as an example, I will try to ensure the growth of the plant by providing a conducive environment, and I will make sure that the breed of that, the seed of that rice is maintained. When it comes to human being, my participation will be to facilitate the care of the body by ensuring physical facilities, by providing the environment for existence and growth of the body. This is what I have to do in the aspect of the body. But this is not enough when it comes to human being. For animal, it might be enough. But for human being, what I need to do is to take care of the self also, because self has become of far more importance in case of human being. So what do I do for the self? Facilitate its will to live with continuous happiness by ensuring human education and sanskar. And for this, by participating in and developing undivided society and universal human order. So they are able to ensure this undivided society and human order then right education sanskar, human education sanskar will be available for every child in the next generation, which will help him to have this right understanding and right feeling, leading to a state of continuous happiness within, which is the innateness of the human being. So this is my participation as a human being with all four orders. I have tried to exemplify a few of them, but you can reflect and decide. And some of the details which are given in the next two slides, which I am not going to elaborate much, is just the expansion of what we have already said. Right. So you can go through this. So this is what we wanted to kind of share in essence. So what we are saying in essence, let me sum up, is that when it comes to right understanding, I have to ensure understanding all the five aspects of any given reality, particularly the units. So these five aspects are form, property, natural characteristics, innateness, and coexistence. Presently, we are focusing on form or property, but we need to focus on these natural characteristics, the innateness, and the coexistence. And these are the essence of any unit, and therefore, we must understand them. And this understanding can be initiated through awakening ourselves to our higher activities of contemplation, understanding, and realization. So we have to work for this. And if we work for this, what we will have as an outcome is the right understanding, which will be assuring for us, which will be fulfilling for us. And this right understanding essentially means through contemplation, understanding, and realization, we can have the clarity about the natural characteristics, about the innateness, about the coexistence, which in essence means having the clarity about unit in relationship, in harmony, in coexistence. So this, if we are able to see about ourselves, human beings, and we are able to see for every unit in existence, all the four orders existence, then we will say that we have the right understanding about the nature, about the existence as a whole. And if we have this clarity for any particular unit, then we'll say that we have the right understanding about that unit. And as we said, that it is particularly important to study about all these five aspects, particularly for human beings, because these three aspects become very important for human beings. Whether we are able to understand the natural characteristics, the innateness, the coexistence of human being or not, that decides whether we are thinking, feeling in terms of this clarity or not. In case of human being, we were rephrasing it, saying that are we able to understand the human being in relationship, human being in harmony, human being in coexistence? If I am able to understand this, then only I am really understanding the human being. And if I understand this, this will start reflecting in my behavior, in my property. If it is reflecting otherwise, it only means that I don't have this clarity about the human being in relationship, in harmony, in coexistence. So this is what we intend to work on as we go further. So with this, I will stop for today, my presentation. But of course, I will welcome any question that has come up. Yes, before opening to the question, I can just read out some of these self-reflections, very simple ones, but you need to do it yourself. That will make many things clear. Number one is take any unit, fruit, and articulate its form, its property vis-a-vis another unit, say your body, the natural characteristic, the innateness, and the coexistence. Second is, we made this statement that ultimately there are only 9 things to understand. Innateness of 4 orders, natural characteristics of the 4 orders, and coexistence, which is same for all orders. So you look into this, try to understand and explain. The third is enlist what you are doing to fulfill your participation with physical order. For example, physical facility that you are using. What is your participation with the physical facility that you are using? Similarly, why order? What you are doing with the vegetables and fruits that you are eating? What is your participation? You are eating it, that is one part. Are you producing it? Are you ensuring the protection of it, right utilization of it, and so on? Similarly, your participation with the animal orders and with the human orders. An example of that human order is your neighbor. So you are in relationship with him, your neighbor.